So this week, Omega finally updated the Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon, and I had the opportunity to try all of them on. Now, what do I think of them? How do I think they fit into the lineup? And are they too expensive? I'm Andy, and welcome to the English Watch. So, back in 2013 at Baselworld, Omega reimagined the Speedmaster in full black ceramic. The original Dark Side of the Moon was bold, stealthy, and a tribute to the Apollo 8's mission around the lunar far side. And initially it was very successful. Now what Omega have done this week is they've replaced it. Now what they've done is refined it, given it a bit of an upgrade. The 2025 collection introduces slimmer cases, upgraded movements with META certification and deeper ceramic finishing, while keeping that signature 44.25mm case, which does sound big, but because it's black, is very wearable. Now, some of these models have genuinely surprised me, and others I think have blown me away. Yeah, genuinely. Now, considering Omega haven't really been setting the world on fire recently, and I stated a number of models over the last 12-24 months, I think these are a real welcome addition. And it's also nice to see on the Omega website that normally they would just add these models on top, and then you'd have this confusing array of lots of different models that look the same at different prices. But no, they've cleaned it up, and you've just got these ones, and they sit alongside the reimagined Apollo 8, which, go and watch my review on that, I have my concerns about. Anyway, when you go on there, it's very clean, very understandable, and it's fair to say they're all about £13,000, 13 to late 13s, so they're all about the same price. Now, the good news about Omega not selling these watches through the website probably means all the old stock's been pushed back into the authorised dealer network, which means you can probably strike up quite a killer bargain on one of the outgoing models. And I think that's one of the benefits of doing this slight nip and tuck, is that when you hold them side by side, which I did, and I genuinely thought the old one that the guy gave me was the new one, until I noticed the details that are missing, I think it's worth a look. Yes, it doesn't have the META certification. Yes, the strap is slightly not as good, but it's still excellent, and I suspect you can save a good few £1,000, so worth the walk, I think. Right, firstly, I tried on the black edition with the red chronograph hand. Now, this one and the full black, I'm going to have to say, I'll talk about the details in a minute, but the black on black, it's very much a fashion watch, I would say, because for me, and okay, I was only in the dealership, I didn't go outside, the time was unreadable. And it's fair to say that the other version, the black automatic, which has a date window, you can't even read the flipping date. Now, I'm sure if you put the torch over it, it would brighten up with all that green lumen over, which, by the way, on some of them has sort of liquid metal pushed into the bezel. So when you're thinking about price, there's all these little refinements. But anyway, so we tried on the black with the red hand. Now this one's a bit thinner because it's a manual wind. And interesting, they've not gone for the 3-register manual wind as on the normal Speedmaster, which I'm wearing the previous version on, or on the Apollo 8. They've just removed the date disc, removed the automatic winding. Yes, it's I think there's the ceramic parts to it, and it looks nice, but it's basically the movement from the 57, so i.e. it's the manual wind, because they've just taken the auto winder off it. Now it looks nice. Again, the red hand is nice. It's a thinner watch. I think it wore really well, and I think if you're after something a bit quirky, I think fantastic. And I think also, just generally, I think all of these should have been manual wind, even with the date. I think Speedmaster needs to be that. I think if you look at the modern Flightmaster, which is a nice looking watch, but is massively thick, and there's got to be, I think there's got to be something they can do about that. And I think making them all manual would be the thing to do, in my opinion. Anyway, so yeah, the black because it's automatic, it's 15mm thick. The red hand one was 13, so that 2mm I think makes a lot of difference. Now, if you must have an automatic winding, I think the benefit of ceramic and it being black does help it shrink on the wrist. Now, the one I really liked, in fact there's two I really liked. the regular version. Now, when you look on the website, they don't really differentiate between the manual wind, the red hand, and the black, and the grey. They're all called Dark Side of the Moon. So we'll have to sort of get used to what we call each one. I don't know yet. But the regular one, which has got the normal sort of white indices that you can actually read, and when you're my age, you need to be able to read the time. That was my favourite. I thought that's really nice. You can get them all on rubber or the canvas style strap. Go for the canvas strap. It's absolutely superb, very comfortable, and not like the Snoopy where it's dead stiff. These are very compliant, and even next to the old version, which I did try on, the strap is tons better. And if I had 13k to drop, I'd go and buy one of those tomorrow, because I think I've got my IWC chronograph, the AMG version, so I like my big chronographs. I can rock that. But no, this one was I think as an everydayer, very nice. So then we get on to the grey side of the moon. Now, the original grey side of the moon was similar to the black version. It was just grey. What they've done now is they've made it the same as the Apollo 8, i.e. it's the laser-bladed lunar surface. The movement's decorated with lunar craters and all that good stuff. And it looks nice. I guess the one thing that I'd say of the grey over the Apollo 8 is it's not as gimmicky. So it just looks like a grey ceramic watch, whereas the black I did like the black and yellow of the Mark 1 Apollo 8, but the update with the funny little rocket on is maybe a gimmick too far for me. If you're a collector, it's fine, and it's a bit of fun, but when you're dropping that kind of cash, you want something that you can wear every day and not have to explain yourself. But I found it super comfy. 12.97 millimeters, they call it. So because, again, it's the manual wind, it's got the 3869 caliber, so it's a version of the Speedmaster Professional. But super comfy again. Now, the other great thing about the grey side of the moon is that the writing on the back. Now, it says the moon is essentially grey. And this is from Jim Lovell. He said, as they went round the moon with Apollo 8, those words. The moon is essentially grey. And he's not wrong. The dark side of the moon is still grey. So it's interesting, and I like the way Omega sort of tend to put those little bits on there for the collectors. So we talked at the start about price, and like I said, they're about £13,000, 13.5. Now, is that a lot of money? Of course, it's a lot of money. The Ed White is there or thereabouts with the 3-2-1 movement. It's different, and I think what you've got to look at is the finishing, the techniques, the added features that Omega have put into these watches is pretty superb. And when you look at something like, I guess the nearest thing would be like an IWC Top Gun. I forget the size, but they're about 44 millimeters as well, aren't they? Like the Woodland or the Stormtrooper, the white one. But they're only about just over £10,000. If you look at IWC, they've struggled, and their prices haven't risen a lot. Omegas have risen, so to gap these ceramic ones to the steel ones and all the other features, they have to keep that separation. Now, we could talk all day about price rises, and I won't bore you with that. So I think in Omega's lineup, the pricing makes sense. Relative to the competition, I would say there's definitely refinement and feature above the IWC, so you're going to have some added value. And what else have you got out there? You've got the Zenith Defy, those bright blue versions in ceramic, and there's probably a Hublot, and they're all probably about the same sort of price, if not a bit higher, and they're not for me. So I think if you're after a great, well-finished, well-designed, engineered and assembled watch, black ceramic, I don't think you can go wrong with these. I think if you went for either a black Top Gun or one of these, you can't go wrong. That would sort of tick your boxes. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd be really interested to know if A, you like this collection, and B, which one would you have? But leave your comments down below and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.